What to do? What's good, y'all? In this video, I'm going to be going over the UFC 320 fighters, but I'm only going to be going over the six you see on screen right here because I'm a nobody. And if someone's going to click on my video, I want them to at least stick around for a little bit. So I'm only going to be matchmaking these six fighters' next fights, considering the rankings, fights that have recently happened, fights that are booked already, and fights that are in talks of being booked. So these are the fights that I think that the UFC would put together. At the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about the fights that I personally would like to see, but these are the fights that the UFC is probably going to be putting together next. So with that being said, let's start the video off with Khalil Rountree Jr. Just lost to Yuri Prohaska via KO in round 3. And the thing about Khalil is like he's actually pretty good. Like he's decent. He just has some of the worst cardio I've ever seen in a UFC fighter. Like it's bad. Like it's not even like a gradual decrease in stamina throughout the fight. It's like he just all of a sudden will just start backing up, and you know when it's gonna happen. Like you could tell when it happens. Like you see him start backing up, and you just know he's gonna get knocked out. He'll just start backing up with his hands by his head. Sometimes not even by his head, just at his waist, just like not really doing much. Just turns into a punching bag, trying to survive. Not even trying to grab or initiate any kind of grappling to survive. Just turns to a punching bag, and then just eventually gets knocked out. Same thing happened to him against Alex Pereira in that fight. So it's like he needs to improve his cardio. He's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. Lost to Alex, beat Jamal Hill, but I mean, at this point, if you're good, you're gonna beat Jamal Hill. And then yeah, just lost to Yuri via KO, a bad KO too. Like he was out cold, so he's gonna need some time off. I think you give him a fight down the rankings, and I think the fight to make for him is against Dominic Reyes, who similar situation was put out badly last week by Carlos Ulberg. So give them both some time off and then book them against each other when they're both ready. Um, this is a good bounce back fight for Khalil if he wins this fight, which I think he would. Then he can maybe get 1 or 2 more wins after this, and then fight for the belt. Same thing for Dominic Reyes. Was on a good win streak, lost to Carlos Ulberg. If he could beat Khalil Rountree Jr., maybe 1 or 2 more wins, and then he could fight for the belt. But there's really not much to say about these two. I think this is the fight to make for both of them. Uh, as for Yuri Prohaska, of course, beat Khalil Rountree via KO in round 3. Didn't look too good though. This is probably the worst that Yuri's ever looked. And I don't even know how to describe it. It's just some Yuri shit. Like, close your eyes and imagine a Yuri Prohaska fight. And like, this is basically what that is. Like, especially in the first round. It's like he wasn't even throwing anything with the intention of landing or hurting Khalil. He was just throwing shit just to throw shit. But as the fight went on, especially like towards the end of round 2 and of course round 3, you could tell he was getting better throughout the fight. He was getting his reads, he was getting his range. Um, and then yeah, eventually just knocked Khalil out. But I think that was more so because of Khalil's gas tank. I think if Khalil didn't gas out, he would have won the fight. But shit happens. Yuri's on a 2-fight win streak now. Knocked out Jamal Hill, knocked out Khalil Rountree Jr. However, Alex is the champion again. And this is going to be a theme for the video, but to get that third fight with Alex, I think he's going to have to do a lot more than just this. I think, or I wouldn't say a lot more. I think he like one more impressive win and he could fight Alex for the belt again if Alex is still the champion. And I think that win that he should get that would put him in the title contention with Alex is against Magomed Ankalaev. I thought that this was the fight to make if Ankalaev would have beat Pereira. However, he didn't. But I still think you put this fight together. I think this is an interesting fight. Before the event started, I thought like if Magomed Ankalaev would have beat Pereira, that Yuri would have been the only other person that could maybe beat him. Then I saw the Roundtree fight, and I was like, okay, maybe not Pereira, maybe Yuri doesn't beat Ankalaev, but then Ankalaev just got steamrolled by Pereira, so it's like, okay, maybe Yuri can still beat him. So I think this is the fight to make for both of these guys. If Yuri beats Ankalaev, he should fight for the belt after this. It'll be a 3-fight win streak, and you just beat the former champion. If Ankalaev beats Yuri, puts him back in the win column, 1 more win maybe, and then he could fight for the belt again. But I think this is the fight that you do for both of these guys. As for the next fight of the night, it was Corey Sandhagen losing to Merab via unanimous decision. And he didn't look terrible outside of almost getting knocked out by Merab. Like, getting knocked out by Merab has to be one of the worst outcomes you could possibly have in a fight. Like, Bedtime MMA made a good joke recently, not too long ago. And he mentioned it in a recent video. Or not even a recent video, just his last video, I'm pretty sure. Where he was saying, like, one of the worst ways to lose is like, imagine you wake up and you're like, what happened? And the ref says, oh yeah, Merab caught you with an overhand. Like, that's actually just embarrassing. But he didn't get knocked out by Merab. He didn't look too bad, considering it's Merab. Like, Merab's just going to dominate pretty much anybody. Not even pretty much anybody. He's gonna dominate everybody. So he didn't look too bad. The thing with Corey Sandhagen though is it's hard to matchmake him. Like if I pull up these rankings, right? I think everyone wants to see the Sean O'Malley fight. However, there is talks that Sean O'Malley is going to be fighting Song Yadong next, so that kind of eliminates him because I think that fight will eventually be put together. He just lost to Umar 2 fights ago. Song Yadong is fighting O'Malley, or is in talks to fight O'Malley. He just beat Davison Figueiredo a fight ago. He already beat Marlon Vera, and Marlon Vera doesn't deserve that fight. And then anything lower than that is just too far down the rankings to give to Corey Sandhagen. So I think the only fight that you would do would be Piotr Jan. And I know he lost to Piotr Jan, but that was all the way back in 2021. Um, and like I mentioned with Yuri against Alex, is like the way that Piotr Jan lost to Merab was so dominant. It was like Merab's most dominant victory. Like I think he has to do a little bit more to like warrant that fight against him again, especially considering his last win was against Marcus McGee, who's ranked 15. So I don't think you get a title shot off of beating Marcus McGee. So I think you do Corey Sandhagen versus Piotr Jan. If Corey can beat Piotr Jan, puts himself back in, back in line for the title, maybe like 1 or 2 more wins, and he can fight for the belts again. And if Piotr Jan can beat Corey Sandhagen, okay, you can give him the title shot after that. But I think that's what you do for Corey Sandhagen. As for Merab, of course, beat Corey Sandhagen via unanimous decision. I thought he could have got the knockout. I think had he like let go of Corey and then kept striking with him after knocking him down, I think he would have knocked him out, but didn't happen. He won via unanimous decision. Fuck, that was bad. And he just looks unbeatable. Like I don't think anyone beats him. He's pretty much cleared out the division entirely at this point. So it's pretty much just rematches for his next couple fights. So I think the next fight to make for him is the winner of Umar Nurmagomedov versus Mario Batista, which I think is going to be Umar. So I think you just run it back against Umar. Or if Mario Batista wins that, preferably, hopefully he does, because then it's someone who hasn't fought Merab yet. Then you do Mario Batista versus Merab, but there's really not much to say about this. Merab is just a bantamweight goat. Like I really don't see anyone beating him. I really don't, unless they fluke a knockout on him. But I don't think like you even can at this point anymore because we've seen in the last 2 fights, Merab has really improved his striking like astronaut. Like it's insane. The man's 34 and he's actually like still improving his striking to a point where he's striking with people like Sean O'Malley and people like Corey Sandhagen. And I know the takedown's a part of that, but it doesn't matter. He's still striking with them, right? So yeah, I think you just do the winner of Umar versus Mario Batista. So with that being said, for the final fighter of the night, we have Alex Pereira, knocked out Magomed Ankalaev in the first round, just steamrolled him, just starched him. It was like almost too easy. Like it was actually insane. Like I didn't think that the first fight, like I know he said he was injured. I think he had, I forgot what injuries it was, but he had like 2 injuries going into the fight and he was sick in training camp. I didn't think it'd make that much of a difference, bro. I'm talking about he's like just just walked him down. It was bad, bro. Like the way that he beat Magomed Ankalaev pretty much confirms that the first fight was pretty much a fluke. Like this probably would have happened in the first fight had he been fully healthy. So I don't even think the trilogy is needed, bro. I'm not gonna lie, the trilogy is not needed at all. And similar to Merab, he's pretty much cleared out the entire lightweight, or not lightweight, light heavyweight division. So I would love to see him move up to heavyweight, which I'll talk about a little bit more after this. But I think the UFC is going to do Alex Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg. This is the only person that he hasn't beat yet. And Dana White doesn't seem too keen on Alex moving up to heavyweight for whatever reason. So I think they're going to do Pereira versus Carlos Ulberg. And then if Pereira can beat Carlos Ulberg, then they're going to let him move up, hopefully. As for what I would like to see, I think you let Pereira just move up and fight Tom Aspinall for the belt. I know he's been talking about fighting John Jones, but like, bro, can we just move on with? Can we not let John Jones ruin the sport any more than he already did? Like, just he retired. Just get him out of here, bro. We don't want him anymore. Let Alex Pereira move up and fight Tom Aspinall for the heavyweight championship. Give him that chance of making history of being the first ever fighter in UFC history to hold or to win a championship in 3 different divisions. Whether you strip him of the light heavyweight title or not, because he was just saying like he feels like he's active enough to move up to fight in the heavyweight division, and then come back down and defend his belt. So I think you just let him do it anyway. And then in the meantime, you do Yuri versus Carlos Ulberg for either the light heavyweight championship if you're going to strip him, if you're going to strip Alex if he moves up to heavyweight, or you do it for the interim championship as he's fighting Tom Aspinall up in the heavyweight division, and then when after fuck, ignore that. And then after the fight against Aspinall, whether he wins or loses, or I would say if he loses against Aspinall, then he can move back down and then defend the belt against one of these two, or fight for the belt again. If he has to relinquish it. If he beats Aspinall, I think you just crowned the winner of this fight as the champion, because I think if he beats Aspinall for the championship belt at heavyweight, he should just stay at heavyweight. Uh, so I think this is what you do if Aspinall or not Aspinall, if Pereira moves up to fight Aspinall. So that's what I think should be done. Let me know if you agree or disagree with any of my opinions and takes. With that being said, I'm out. Have a nice day.